In Myanmar, China is building the biggest project in Myanmar's history. This will change Myanmar forever. This will weld China and Myanmar together forever. Hello everyone, it's Asian Anthony, and in this video we're going to talk about the Chinese-Myanmar Economic Corridor, or the SMEC. So what is the SMEC? Well, it's a Belt and Road Initiative. It's a package of about 35 different projects that span from an oil pipeline, which is mostly finished and functional, a railway, which is not finished at all, highways, which are mostly, well, halfway finished, special economic zones, like the ones you see that Japan built in Yangon, and most importantly, a deep sea water port in the state of Rakhine. We're going to talk about the railway and the deep sea water port. First, the railway. Now, back in December of 2025, China started complaining about the lack of progress with this railway. This is because on the Chinese side, the railway is mostly finished. And in April of 2026, the current leader of Myanmar claims that they're going to speed up this process. Has there been any progress? We don't know. We will see. But China has gotten very angry. In May 20th of 2026, so that's the last week, China actually sent their ambassador to the capital of Myanmar to sit down with the current vice president to complain about the lack of progress. Now, after the end of this meeting, of course, the vice president just says, okay, we're going to speed up this progress. But to speed up the progress means to speed up the conflict, because the reason why there has been a lack of progress in the railway is because of the conflict zones that the railway needs to pass through. So when he says he's going to speed up the process, he's actually saying he's going to speed up the conflict, or he's going to put more pressure on the conflict. Let's talk about the deep sea port. Now, the deep sea port is the most important, because you have to realize that most of China's trade passes through vulnerable waters, okay? Myanmar gives China an alternate route to bypass the South China Sea and the Strait of Malacca, which are quote unquote vulnerable. And I actually agree with them on this one. Now, this deep sea water port is going to be in the Rakhine State. It's going to be called the Kwakfu. Okay, I'm sorry I'm pronouncing this incorrectly. But it was started in 2018 and it was supposed to be finished in 2025. Now, at the end of 2025, not only is it not finished, there almost has been no significant progress. So obviously, this has become a big problem. But when it is finished, this will allow China to bypass all of their issues in the South China Sea or these vulnerable waters. Does this sound good to you? Of course it sounds good. As a matter of fact, it is good. It's great. But let's talk about the problems. One is the cost. Remember, this is a Belt and Road Initiative. So the cost of this project is supposed to be around $500 billion, okay? Now, is China going to just give Myanmar this money? No. As a matter of fact, they're only going to loan them this money. So far, they've only loaned about $10 billion, but they're going to loan them this money. And remember, this is a Belt and Road Initiative, so these projects are going to be on at least a 50-year lease. And given that Myanmar has a GDP of $35 billion per year, it could take maybe 75 to 100 years to pay back this loan. But let's cross our fingers and hope it can be paid off in 50 years. Okay, and also you have to understand that when Myanmar allows this to happen, expect the Western powers to be upset, because they have spent a lot of money making sure they can contain China in the South China Sea and through the Malacca Straits. So if China sets up a deep sea water port in the Bay of Bengal, what is America going to do? Well, they're going to ally themselves with India even closer. And if you know who the Secretary of State is, his name is Marco Rubio. Where is he at right now? India.